could enter into again. At some point during those, Constellation filed suit. It was dismissed. They then decided to move forward and apply for the Public Service Commission, and that's where we are now. So it's two different things. If we're going to make an agreement, we can make between the governor and them. We'll make an agreement, but it's not going to necessarily be just whatever they say. Or in the alternative, which is the alternative they're pursuing, which is perfectly appropriate, seek approval from the Public Service Commission. We trust the Public Service Commission will reach to do a decision that hopefully will take into effect all these issues, is just have some appreciation that this is not a single issue factor for us. This is not simply whether Calvert Cliffs gets built and there's a project labor agreement. That's an important part of it, but there's more to it, and that's our job. Not blaming anybody. You all advocate on your side. Our job is to take into consideration all these decisions, and right or wrong, try to do the best we can for people in the state of Maryland. Mark?
How you doing, Mr. Secretary?
Sure.
Thank you for coming to address us. I understand that the governor has to look at this broadly and can't look at it in a vacuum, but we did support this governor, you know what I mean? And I beg to differ on one of the top issues, especially right now in this economy, is jobs. These are good paying jobs, these jobs that support health care and retirement. And I look at this article, and I think this article is heavily weighted against this project when the governor uses terms like fatally flawed. And if the governor, in fact, supports project labor agreements, then I think more than one sentence should be contributed in this article to the importance of jobs. And so that's what I'm saying. So if he's looking at it on balance, and if he's looking at it broadly, then I think he should, this article, if he's putting out op-eds, they should accurately reflect.
And Mark, that's a fair comment. But I want to touch on two things, though, and I think what's good for the goose is good for the gander. One of the issues that before the Public Service Commission is that which they have to weigh in making this is irrespective of what they do. There's no guarantee that this action will mean that the Calvert Cliffs expansion goes through. That's not a criticism of Constellation. It's just a recognition that this is complex. This is not as simple as just approve this acquisition and it gets built. So there are the financing issues before the federal government. There are other contingencies as well. I don't beat them up for that. It is a complex issue. There are other issues here besides the expansion, and the expansion is not even guaranteed by approval of the transaction. But and frankly, a transaction per se wouldn't necessarily. The original transaction actually probably would have flowed. The Buffett transaction would have probably flowed pretty smoothly, because they had different terms. That was their business choice. We're evaluating this one on its terms, and it does, in our view, and in the view of many parts of the Public Service Commission, raise the concern about whether the acquisition, in effect, could be have a deleterious impact on the ratepayers of BG&E. That's their burden to prove.
Just a real quick follow-up, just a comment. I'd just like to say that, from the building trades perspective, it seems that the governor is opposed to projects that will put people back to work. And I don't hear anything.
In fairness, we supported the Calvert Cliffs expansion right along. We supported the Buffett acquisition. Just because we question this one doesn't.
I don't hear anything. I don't hear any initiatives coming out of the governor's office that would put people back to work, good paying jobs, health care, those kinds of things. So that's what I'm doing.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Kevin McVeigh, Business Manager with Iron Workers Local 201. As we've been discussing this all morning, and as some of the comments have been made, there's a lot of hurdles between this project, the LNG project, and all the projects we talked about that are already tough enough for us to get over. We need support from the governor, and if the governor doesn't know that, you know, what the ratepayer, impact on the ratepayer is gonna be, it's gonna be a lot more impact if we don't get the Maryland residents back to work. And these three projects are gonna take care of a lot of that, with good paying jobs and benefits and the rest of it. And the governor really needs to take a look at that, because it's coming up on an election year. And if he bypasses the people that need to get back to work, to pay those rates, because, you know, if you don't have a job, a lot of these people are already having problems paying their mortgages and the rest of it. These are projects, we have too many hurdles now to get past. We need his support to get these projects on the road and get them ready to go to work. Thank you.
I want to go back to what Mark said. And you've been saying all morning this is a complicated issue. And it's kind of like, not to call it a football game or whatever like that, when you got a game plan and then things change, you know, you lose your quarterback in the middle of the game and you got to rethink things. Well, this economy has changed everything from when this process all started. You got the state of Maryland in fiscal shortfall. People who have lost their jobs are losing their homes. Their families are in crisis. The state is being burdened with unemployment insurance. There's no money coming in, and now the governor has to change the budget again and lay off more people and more people. And when you've got right here, just right here in this room, you've got two corporations who are investing their own money in two projects that are going to put 5,000 people to work with good paying union jobs, not just the jobs that are going to create clean energy, that are going to create reduced utility costs, clean to the environment, and the governor still wants to stay stuck on, I almost want to say stupid, but I won't say that. He wants to just stay stuck. And I will not elaborate on some private conversations that I've had with him, but I'm telling you, it has nothing to do with the stuff you're saying today, John. It has nothing to do with it. And I'm getting frustrated sitting up here listening to it. I really am. And we have got too much at stake. The whole state has too much at stake to keep playing with this. And I hear you guys saying this is election year coming up.
The actions of the Maryland State Public Service Commission and or any other state regulatory agency, right or wrong, whatever actions they take, the public perception is that whatever they do is what the governor wants to do.
Yeah, I think that is true.
And so that being the case, I mean, I'm not saying that he's trying to hide behind the commission, but that's going to be the perception.
No, and as a politician, you know, campaign manager, you're out of no illusions on that. That is not in fact the case, but, you know, I appreciate why people think that. The fact of the matter is, they're willing to rest with that. I actually believe that, as is often the case with these things, at the end of the day, people will pursue their own interests. You'll pursue yours, you know, Constellation will pursue theirs. It's the job of the Public Service Commission, and probably by extension the governor, to manage all those interests to try to get an end result, which may not be exactly what everybody wants, but is a reasonable approach to the issue. It's our sincere hope that Constellation can address these issues with the Public Service Commission, and in fact, approval that not only ensures the expansion of Calvert, not only ensures the project being agreed, but also ensures the protection of the ratepayers and the public. You know, I'm sure Constellation believes what they're doing currently does that. We don't believe it's sufficient. At some point, you know, hopefully, the end result will be one that we all agree on. That I don't denigrate their ability to advocate their position. I don't denigrate your.